my channel. I will be your K-drama queen for today. And this week, I am super excited to talk about a drama that finished airing last week, and it is The Voice, or Voice, which is a very sad and heartbreaking drama about two police officers who have their loved ones killed by an incredibly gruesome psychopath whom they swear upon their lives to catch no matter what. I don't know about you, but to me this plot already sounds like it deserves a 10 out of 10. I mean, there was a supernatural element added to it as well, with the main female character having this crazy ability of hearing almost every single sound out there. I'm not a big fan of like fantasy and supernatural things being added to regular Korean dramas, but in this case, there was a perfect setting already for this supernatural ability to flourish and to play out really, really well. I mean, who else if not a policewoman would benefit so much from this kind of ability? I feel like I'm already starting to talk a little bit about the plot, so here comes the spoiler alert. All of you guys who are gonna get butthurt if I tell you something that you haven't yet watched, please stop this video, go watch the amazing drama, come back, and we're all gonna have fun here. So if I was to judge this drama purely based on the first and the last episode, I would give it a 20 out of 10. I would give it a 50 out of 10. I swear, it was so good. The suspense in the first episode was the most intense suspense I've ever seen in any other drama. Debatably, but from what I can remember for now. But unfortunately, the way it does usually happen with these mystery, suspense, kind of main villain keeps on running away kind of dramas, the middle sank so much. I was actually watching this drama together with my mom. Even my mom, around the 7th or 8th episode, she just paused the video and she was like, oh my god, this is so boring. Sadly, I feel like if I didn't have the thoughts of reviewing this drama, when I started watching it, I feel like I probably wouldn't have finished it, which would have been so sad because the ending was amazing. It was brilliant. I feel like at the beginning we had all these cases stacked up one after another very, very quickly. You know, the moment one thing ended and new things started and there was an emergency call here, an emergency call there. It was very, very dynamic. And then after they've kind of showed us both of main leads' abilities, they just kind of stopped and they started investigating the main villain. And this whole investigation process was just really not up to par to the excitement of all those emergency cases. So that unfortunately ruined the drama a little bit for me. However, the emergency cases were out of this world. Every single one of them, it would start a certain way, but then it would finish being something completely different. They were really, really intricate. They were really, really well written. So writers, seriously, well done. Another thing about this drama that I've really, really enjoyed in terms of plot and just kind of the feel of it was how real everything was portrayed. I feel like Korean dramas are known for being overly glamorized, for being very exaggerated. You know the type of dramas I'm talking about, guys. You know them. But this one felt very down to earth. It felt very real. It felt like something that could happen to you or me. One last thing I want to say about the plot, and then we're just gonna move on to characters because, oh my god, I got so much to say. I noticed a continuous theme going along the entire drama, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed it. I'm not sure if I was supposed to notice it, and this theme was parenthood. I feel like every single emergency case, including the main villain, stemmed from parental negligence of some sort or kind. And every single time something bad or negative would happen, someone would die, it would be somehow related to the fact that children are the first ones to pay for their parents' mistakes. And this theme struck me so much because it's so real and once again, it's so relatable. So I feel like they do have a very, very big impact. All right, with that heavy topic out of the way, let's move on to the characters. And you know how in most of my reviews, I just kind of brush over the characters because the actors are picked well, the characters are written pretty well, you know, it's all very reasonably done. However, here I actually had a few issues with certain actors. Yes, I said it. There were two characters that I had an issue with. One was quite major, another one was a very minor, kind of little episodial role, which was the female DJ at the club. Oh my god, she was so unrealistic. She was just so not into it. She was at a DJ booth and she was there just like, yeah, I'm just gonna make myself look really, really nice and really like sexy and attractive rather than actually being consumed in the music and whatever you're doing. Like, it just didn't look real. And even though it was a minor little thing, it just stood out to me so much because it was so out of place and unrealistic and just like, oh, give me the shivers. The second character that I had a really big issue with was Eunbyul's sister. I don't remember her name, but she originally didn't want to join the Golden Time team, but then after what happened with Eunbyul, she decided to join, and man, she sucked at acting. There was a moment where they didn't know if her sister was dead or alive, and she was supposed to cry, and she was supposed to kind of be really emotional, but it looked like it was difficult for her to squeeze out one little tear. Like, her face just stayed so, like, fake. I don't know, it was kind of like, I'm trying really hard to, like, push out a tear, but my face is still not really that sad. Like, you need to be on your knees, you gotta be crying your eyes out. Your flesh and blood, your sister, your younger sister is somewhere with some crazy man. Alright, you don't need to be bawling, but I feel like that's a very natural instinct. But yeah, I don't really want to get into too much detail. I felt like her face was really unexpressive. I felt like she just didn't have depth to her character at all. I didn't like it, I didn't enjoy it. She just didn't leave an impact the way other actors did in this drama. The one character I do want to point out for being absolutely outstandingly amazing was Jin-hyuk, the actor who played the main cop. There were so many things I loved about his character. I loved how simple he was. I loved how straightforward he was. He was just such a manly character. I mean, even his nickname, the crazy dog, was just so fitting, and even the way he would speak was fascinating to me. As someone who's learning Korean, his little expressions, his little like sarcastic remarks were so educational to me. Like that time where Taegu, the main villain, actually came to the police station and Jin-hyuk and him met. He was so blunt and open. He was like, yeah, 딱딱아.
야, 딱딱아.
Like, who would call someone? Tak-tak is the noise that the main villain's jaw was making when he spoke. So Jin-hyuk referred to him by that sound, very looking down upon. Oh, it was such a power move. I loved it. There are two honorable mentions that I want to give to actors in this drama. One is the actor who played Taegu, obviously. He was so malicious and so scary. I seriously have never gotten chills from someone's look in a drama, and he definitely made that happen for me in this case. And another honorable mention might be very unexpected for you guys, but it was that gay guy who was schizophrenic and he thought that the hacker guy from the Golden Team was in love with him. His acting was so on point. The only other person I got the scary chills from in this drama was him. The way he could switch his gaze from this crazy obsessive gaze to like a normal person's one. Wow, that was so impressive. Right now, quickly going over the soundtracks and production, both of which I really enjoyed. The soundtracks, there weren't a lot of them. I think 2 or so stood out to me, and one of them by Kim Yuna stood out to me the most. It was so emotional. It was so perfect for this lonely and cold atmosphere of winter and the entire burdenous feeling of this drama where all these characters are carrying such heavy burdens on their shoulders. In terms of production, the cinematography was great, the settings were great. Sometimes some scenes were a little bit too dark, and oh my god, those fighting scenes. Man, they were so well choreographed, they were so well shot. Sometimes they were a bit too long. Alright, now all we're gonna talk about are the little miscellaneous things that were a little bit ridiculous, that made me cringe or shake my head like this while I was watching this drama. And as always, I use my trusty little phone to make notes while I watch. Episode number 3, as much as it had one of the most exciting emergency cases, it was also one of the most confusing ones because it had a lot of ridiculous moments. When that crazy woman found that her child was in the dryer laundry machine, she took him out, she put him on the couch, and she was on the phone with Kang Won-ju, right? Kang Won-ju was trying to calm her down, whatever. The camera switches to Jin-hyuk running around, but then as he runs into that apartment, the boy's gone, the lady's just there, and the phone is still on. This was really confusing to me because if the phone was on, how did that old man just come in, took the child without saying any words, without uttering anything, without making any noise so that she would be able to recognize him? It was a little bit far-fetched to me. Also, how does this old man carry a young boy who's bleeding and who looks very abused out in the middle of the street with police cars everywhere and policemen everywhere and people gathering around? Like, is he a Superman? Does he know how to fly? Also, why would he just casually have a sedative drink in his fridge? Oh, just in case I ever need it. Like, Yeah. And lastly, when the entire ordeal was over and the kid was finally found, instead of calling the police, instead of getting the kid out, Jin-hyuk just gives him the walkie-talkie and he talks to Kang Won-ju, and it's just this super long, supposedly sentimental, heartwarming scene. Like, no, you need to be really fast. The kid's about to die. Like, he lost so much blood. Get on with it. We don't care about sentiments. We just want him to survive. A big question that I had after watching a couple of episodes of this drama was, how does their call center even work? It seems like as soon as some big emergency case happens, the entire call center just halts and everyone's attention is on that specific case, but what about the rest of the city, the rest of the neighborhood, the rest of whatever area they monitor? I mean, if that happens in real life, great, but I just kind of wanted an explanation of why it happens that way, how it happens, like a bit of educational information, you know, just to find out more about call centers. It's interesting. Another major thing that annoyed the living life out of my mom, actually, is that no policemen ever carried their guns with them. Don't they have protocols that they need to follow? Like, I just don't get it. Episode number 5. This is also an episode where I was really disappointed in the minds and the brains of the main two leads, where they're walking in the dark corridor and then there is this fire extinguisher that just out of nowhere rolls towards them, and they just stand there being like, oh my god, what kind of sorcery is this? A fire extinguisher rolling on its own. Wouldn't you think that someone in the dark rolled it towards you? No? You wouldn't? I would. Also, why does Kang Won-ju always walk around in the dark without a flashlight? She has a phone, she has a smartphone. All of them have flashlights. In episode 9, I was really confused as to why would the announcers on the news talk about specific names of people. I've never really heard in the news anyone's specific names being mentioned. Yes, certain police stations in certain districts, yes, they do get shout outs if they do something, but individual names? I don't know. The unrealistic scene when the entire emergency call center just sits and does nothing and just watches a video. I mean, while you watch, you can call the dispatch, you can call the ambulance, you can call all these people, but no, my nerves were giving out at that point. Also, how did that crazy gay guy get into the archive? Is he some kind of superhuman? Also, how does he hear through walls? And how careless are policemen to just like, oh yeah, let this guy go. He looks super duper suspicious, but we're just gonna put him in the corridor and not even check if he leaves. Dumb and dumber, I swear. In one of the later episodes, like 13 or 14, there was this really obvious product placement scene where I was just a bit thrown aback, like how much Samsung paid producers or whoever to put that ad. It was literally like an ad into the drama. It's where this hacking boy, part of the golden team, he's in the toilet and he drops his Samsung S7 or whatnot into the water stream, and then he literally picks it up and holds it under the water stream being like, oh yeah, it's waterproof, and then he continues talking on it. So yeah, the product placement is strong in this one. Alright, lastly, I promise this is the last thing. The last episode, how many times can you say the word last in a minute? The last episode was very well done. It was a really good ending to this entire ordeal. I really loved how Jin-hyuk and Kang Won-ju didn't end up killing Taegu. They just kind of send him to a mental institution where he does not have the ability to put his hands on people. He doesn't have the ability to torture them, which is pretty much torture for himself. But then that crazy scene at that asylum or whatnot was very strange to me. Like, I was worried I was gonna have nightmares. Like, I did not expect it to be so horror-like. And I'm also not sure if it was real or not. Was it like a symbolic representation of what happens to Taegu in this specific asylum where he feels like he's dead inside because he can't torture anyone? Or did the main doctor in this asylum also happen to be this crazy maniac who just enjoys killing people in his asylum? Like, I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys thought about it, because that left me really confused. Really impressed with, once again, the production, the gruesomeness of that scene, really. But yeah, I'm still confused. Please let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, that is all I have to say about this drama. Now, I really want to know what you guys thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you not? Please leave your comments in the comment section. I read them and I sometimes answer. So yes, let's have a discussion. And with that said, I hope you all are staying happy and healthy. I hope you're going to have a great beginning of the week. Very productive week. And yeah, I'll see you on later this week. Bye. Annyeong.